Hi folks, welcome to week number 4 of online communications. Hopefully you are kind of in the swing of the course and due dates. This week, again week number 4 is October 28th through November 3rd. Our focus this week is chapter 5, which is all about perception, and chapter 6, which is about self-concept. I think you will really appreciate both of these chapters. Chapter 5 really is a wonderful chapter to spend some time and really get into as far as a studying perspective, because it is all about how we perceive what's happening around us. And I think when we start to look at perception, we start to see some of our own perceptual errors. And that's where we see some of those grouping type of errors come in, stereotypes, or implicit personality theory. So we start to see some of those that may be operating in our own way that we perceive the world and others around us. And then closely related to that, chapter 6 is all about our self-concept. And self-concept is truly how we view ourselves in our own head. We all kind of walk around with our own little short resume or our own snapshot of how we view ourselves. And it's important to pay attention to that snapshot or that little short resume that we carry in our head, because it becomes a perceptual filter for how we interact and how we see and respond to things around us. So 2 really good chapters to really kind of immerse yourself in. As far as assignments this week, discussion posting number 2 is due in the discussion area, and then again remembering to respond to at least 2 classmates as well. Both of these assignments are due by Wednesday, October 30th. Again, I do have your comments posted for your first discussion posting, so I really encourage you to go back and look at those comments just to see if I had any suggestions for improvement. I also really encourage you to use the discussion posting grading rubric so that you are paying close attention, that you have definitions, that you have page numbers, that your responses to your classmates are at least 50 to 75 words, just to make sure that you're following all of the grading requirements for those. And then also this week you're going to be writing your second paper for me, which is paired interview number 1, and that is due by Friday, November 1st. This gets dropped in the Dropbox, just like you did with your instruction manual, and it's due by 11:59 p.m. on Friday, November 1st. And I'm going to switch screens here in just a second, and we're going to walk through that assignment together. But remember, folks, too, I'm happy to look at your rough draft as long as you get it to me by Wednesday, October 30th, so I have time to read it and then give you some comments and feedback. But really is a wonderful opportunity for you to have me look at your work. And even if you only get the first part of it done and you just want to make sure that you're on the right track, I'm more than happy to do that. So get an early start on this. I encourage you to get it done, either today or tomorrow, and then get that to me so that you can earn maximum points. It's weird to say, folks, but after we are finished with this week, we are halfway through. So all the points do count. It really does add up quickly in a half semester course like this. And then also by Friday, November 1st, you'll need to take your 13-point quiz over chapters 5 and 6. And again, just a quick reminder to please make sure that you print out those vocabulary worksheets, complete them. I really encourage you to handwrite the definitions and the page numbers for each of those vocabulary words, simply because I think just the act sometimes of looking them up and writing them down helps them stick in your head, and then you have a wonderful reference place to look for concepts and definitions to apply in your discussion postings, and then concepts and definitions to use in your papers. So for example, I'm assuming as you write your discussion posting for chapter 2, discussion posting 2, you'll pull in concepts from chapter 5 and 6. And the same is true as you write paired interview number 1. I'm assuming that you'll pull in vocabulary words from chapter 5 and 6. And it's just very handy then, if you have your vocabulary worksheets completed, You have the definitions and the page numbers right there for your reference. Okay, so I'm going to switch screens here, and I'm going to go over to paired interview number 1 so that we can talk through that together. So paired interview number 1, I have it kind of broken down by steps. The first step that you'll need to complete is you're going to create 3 separate lists. And I'd like you to label those 3 lists with the first name and then your relationship with the 2 people that you interviewed. So your first list will be 10 words that you use to describe how you perceive yourself. And I have just a little note here. Include a variety of types of descriptors: roles, skills, physical attributes, personality characteristics. So your first list, you'll just put my own list, and I want you to do this fairly quickly. Don't overthink this assignment. I kind of want it to be just a real gut reaction. Just list 10 words and how you would describe yourself. Your second list is to have a family member or a close friend, somebody who knows you really well. As we learned about in Chapter 1, this would be someone who would be in that intimate category. Have them do the same thing. Have them list 10 words that they would use to describe you. Don't show them your own list. I don't want them to kind of be persuaded by your list. I want you just to have, just say, hey, really quick, give me 10 words that you would use to describe me. And then label that list just with their first name and then their relationship. Is it your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, sister, brother, roommate, whatever, but somebody who knows you well. Your third list, I want you to have an acquaintance. And again, this is somebody who does not know you well. Most often acquaintances are someone that we interact with based on a role. So it could be a coworker that you don't know well. I mean, don't use a coworker that you sit next to every day and that you talk about, your lives with. But maybe it's a coworker that you don't work with very often. Maybe it's an instructor. Maybe it's a neighbor that you don't see or interact with very often. But somebody who doesn't know you well. Have them list 10 words on how they would perceive you. Again, don't show them your list or your list from your friend or family intimate. So the first part of your paper will have your 3 lists, and again, they will have the person's name, they will have their relationship to you. And now you're ready to do step 2. Step 2 then is to write 3 to 4 paragraphs that analyze the differences and the similarities between the lists. And this is in your analysis of these similarities and differences. This is when you're going to incorporate textbook theories and concepts. And not only are you going to say this is a great example of, let's say Looking Glass Self, but you're going to explain how Looking Glass Self relates to this difference or the similarity that you're seeing. So when we do an analysis, folks, it's not just enough to say this is an example of. The analysis piece is where you explain how and why that text concepts relate to the examples from your list. Again, remember to highlight the text concepts in a different color or font, and make sure to include definitions and chapter, section, or page numbers. Step 3 is to write another 2 to 3 paragraphs that describe and analyze the nonverbal communication that was present in your discussion with your partners. Obviously, you're not going to comment on your own nonverbal as you were creating your list, but I do want you to focus on body cues, facial cues, appearance, artifacts, anything that was present in your lists with someone who knows you well, and any nonverbals that were present in your interview with somebody who was an acquaintance. Again, making sure that you apply concepts from the chapter and include definitions and page numbers and highlight them in a different color or font. So all together, as we're looking at this paper, you will have your 3 lists. You'll have your 3 to 4 paragraphs that talk about the differences and similarities. You'll have 2 to 3 paragraphs that describe the nonverbal. Most often when I look at these assignments that are well done, they're usually 2 to 3 pages in length, double space. So if that kind of gives you a total length to shoot for, that kind of gives you an idea. So the grading rubric is if your assignment includes all 3 labeled lists, an analysis that cites 5 to 6 concepts from our textbook, including definitions and page numbers, and then clearly demonstrates your ability to apply the course knowledge and information and demonstrate that you understand it. And again, folks, this clearly demonstrates understanding and ability to apply course knowledge and information is where you not only just identify the related concept, but you explain in your own words how and why you believe this concept relates to this example. And then also, if it's an A paper, it's going to be free of grammar or mechanical errors. Do pay really close attention to that. I know with your instruction manuals, I had a couple papers that would have been A papers just based on analysis and content, but they had many grammar or spelling errors. So please make sure that you double check that. Again, I really want to encourage you to use the Learning Resource Center on campus to have them help you do that double checking of your writing, just to make sure that you don't have grammar or mechanical errors. And remember, mechanical errors, folks, are if you're not capping your I when you're saying I did something, or if you're not using contractions or punctuations correctly. Any of those things kind of fall under the mechanical area. So this is what is due on Friday. Again, the whole assignment, usually when it's all done, when all steps are completed, usually 2 to 3 pages total in length. And again, I'm more than happy to take a peek at your paper if you get your rough draft completed, or even if you just get the first, if you get just step 1 and step 2 done and you want me to take a peek before you do step 3. Just a quick note, some of you might use mediated communication to get your list. And when under step 3 is you're writing about nonverbal communication, then talk about mediated communication. Talk about media richness theory. Talk about cues filtered out theory. Talk about some of those pieces that are related to using mediated communication. So, folks, I hope you're doing well. I hope things are making sense as we move through the semester. Please know that I'm here to help. I know that this course moves very quickly, so anything that I can do to help keep you on track, answer any of your questions, or help you along the way, please know that I'm here. And I want you to be successful. Nothing would make me happier than to get to the end of the semester and have you all be earning really good grades and doing well in the course. So whatever I can do to help you with that, I'm here to do that. Please note, though, that I do have to be fair to everybody in the class and honor the due dates that are posted. I don't do that, folks, to be mean or harsh. I do it to be fair. It's not fair if I let one student submit a discussion late or a paper late, or take 23 minutes to do a quiz when everybody else only had 20 minutes to do a quiz. So I truly, my intention is not to be mean or harsh with you, but my intention is to be fair. So please make sure that you watch due dates and due times very, very closely. Again, and I know I said this in our course orientation, the number one reason that folks don't do well in this course is they miss assignments or they miss due dates. So please just kind of really be aware and watch our schedule closely. Okay, have a wonderful week. Again, if I can do anything to answer questions, please email me. This is Halloween week, so please, especially those who have small kids in their lives or their houses, enjoy that very, very fun holiday for the kids. Take care, folks.